I'm sitting in a glass conference room on the 14th floor of the Meridian Tower, watching my son explain to a room full of suits why I'm no longer relevant to his business. Tyler stands at the head of the table, all 6'2", of expensive haircut and tailored confidence, gesturing at a PowerPoint slide that might as well have my obituary printed on it. The slide reads, Strategic Restructuring Advisory Board Optimization. I know what that means. I helped him write his first business plan when he was 23. Now he's 26, and explaining to these people why Dean Hargrove, cybersecurity consultant with 22 years of corporate experience, isn't worth keeping around. My father's contributions have been valuable, Tyler says, and I can hear the past tense doing all the work in that sentence. But as we scale, we need advisors who understand the current landscape. No disrespect to Dad, but his skill set is becoming outdated. The suits nod. One of them, a silver-haired vulture named Gerald Voss, actually smiles at me like I'm supposed to appreciate the gentle letdown. I don't say anything. I just lean back in my chair and watch my son perform. Brooke sits 3 seats down from me, scrolling through her phone. My daughter, 25 years old, 200,000 Instagram followers, and a PR consulting business built on the connections I helped her make. Effective immediately, we'll be transitioning Dad off the advisory board. We'll of course honor the remainder of his consulting contract, but we need to move in a different direction. The meeting ends with handshakes and sympathetic looks. Tyler walks over, puts a hand on my shoulder like we're still father and son instead of whatever this is. You understand, right? This is just business. I stand up. I'm 2 inches shorter than him now. When did that happen? Sure, I say. Just business. Brooke finally looks up from her phone. Dad, don't be dramatic. You'll get over it. I pick up my briefcase. It's an old leather thing, a gift from Marlene on our 15th anniversary. I've carried it to every client meeting for 8 years. I'm not being dramatic, I tell her. I'm just leaving. I walk out of the Meridian Tower and drive home through afternoon traffic that feels like molasses. My phone buzzes twice, both messages from Tyler. First one. Dad, seriously, don't take this personally. Second one. This was a board decision, not mine. I don't respond. When I pull into the driveway of our house in Greenfield, Marlene is standing on the front porch with her arms crossed. She's wearing her boutique clothes, the expensive casual look she puts together for client meetings. But she's home early. They did it, didn't they? She says. I nod. She doesn't move. Come inside. The house smells like coffee and the vanilla candles Marlene burns when she's thinking. I drop my briefcase by the door and follow her into the kitchen. She's already got papers spread across the table, bank statements, investment portfolios, legal documents. How long have you known? I ask. 3 weeks, she says. I pulled everything after Brooke stopped answering my calls. Sit down. I sit. Marlene pushes a document across the table. It's a withdrawal authorization from our retirement account. $73,000. Signed by Brooke Hargrove, with power of attorney granted 6 months ago during a routine paperwork update that I don't remember agreeing to. Keep looking, Marlene says. Next document. A transfer from our investment account to Tyler's company. $42,000. Processed 2 months ago. The memo line reads, Bridge loan, personal. I stare at the numbers until they blur. There's more, Marlene says. She's not angry. She's cold. I've seen her angry. This is different. This is the face she makes when someone tries to return a damaged dress and claim it was sold that way. She slides over a printout of Tyler's LinkedIn profile. Recent post, 3 days ago. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions to move forward. Grateful for the mentors who taught me to prioritize growth over comfort. That's his new brother-in-law, Marlene says. Brooke's husband. Well, husband as of 4 months ago. We weren't invited to the wedding. I look at her. What? City Hall, Vegas weekend. She posted about it on Instagram. Didn't tell us until a week later. I put my head in my hands. My skull feels like it's going to crack. "Dean," Marlene says, and her voice has an edge I haven't heard in years. "Look at me." I look. "We raised them," she says. "We fed them. We put them through school. We gave them every advantage, and they stole from us. We don't know that Tyler—" "Yes, we do." She taps the transfer document. "This wasn't a loan. There's no repayment schedule, no interest, no contract. He took our money and cut you out of his company the same week." I want to argue. I want to defend them. But the paperwork doesn't lie. My phone buzzes. Text from Brooke. "Dad, you're being childish. We can talk about this like adults." I show it to Marlene. She reads it, then picks up my phone and turns it off. "We're done talking," she says. "Now we plan. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better." The next morning, I wake up at 5:30 out of habit and lie in bed staring at the ceiling. Marlene is already awake, sitting at her desk in the corner of our bedroom with her laptop open. The blue light makes her look like a ghost. "Coffee's ready," she says without turning around. I get up, shower, put on a suit even though I have nowhere to go. Old habits. I've worn a suit to work every day for 22 years. Not wearing one feels like admitting defeat. When I come downstairs, Marlene has moved to the kitchen table. More documents. She's made a timeline on graph paper, the kind she uses to track inventory for her boutique. Only this timeline tracks our children's betrayal in neat chronological order. 6 months ago, she says, pointing to the first entry, Brooke visits and asks you to update your estate planning documents. Remember? I do. She said it was smart to keep everything current. We went to the lawyer together. I signed papers. That's when she got power of attorney, Marlene says. 3 months ago, Tyler tells you he needs advice on securing a major contract. You give him access to your consulting client portal so he can see how corporate security works. He said he wanted to learn, I mutter. He used your credentials to access confidential data from your clients. I found the login records, your username, his IP address. He's been mining your work for competitive intelligence. I feel something crack in my chest, not my heart, something deeper. 2 months ago, Marlene continues, he transfers $42,000 from our account. 1 month ago, Brooke withdraws $73,000. 3 weeks ago, Tyler starts the paperwork to remove you from his advisory board. Yesterday, they make it official. She closes the timeline. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. I sit down across from her. What do? We stop being their parents, she says, and we start being their problem. My phone is still off. Hers buzzes. She glances at it and shows me the screen. Text from Tyler. Mom, can you talk to Dad? He's not answering. Marlene types back, your father is fine. We'll be in touch. Tyler responds immediately. Is he mad? This wasn't personal. Marlene doesn't reply. She puts her phone face down on the table. Here's what I know, she says. Tyler's company is 3 months from a Series B funding round. He needs that money or he's done. Brooke's PR firm has 4 major clients, all of whom I know personally through the boutique network. And Preston Hale, the brother-in-law we've never met, works in private equity. He's the one who convinced them to do this. How do you know that? Because I've been listening. She pulls up an Instagram post on her phone. It's from Brooke's account, dated 2 months ago. A photo of her and Preston at some rooftop bar, caption reading, when your husband teaches you that family is about who elevates you, not who holds you back. The comments are full of fire emojis and Yas Queen garbage, but there's one from Tyler. Truth, we're building an empire, not running a charity. I read it 3 times. Each time it gets worse. I know that look. I've seen it twice in our marriage. Once when a supplier tried to scam her boutique with counterfeit merchandise. Once when a landlord tried to evict her without cause. Both times, Marlene smiled that cold smile and systematically destroyed the person who crossed her. She's not loud about it. She doesn't yell. She just finds the pressure points and pushes. "What's the plan?" I ask. "You're going to do what you do best," she says. "You're going to audit their entire lives. Every contract, every transaction, every relationship. You're going to find where they're vulnerable, and then we're going to take everything they stole and burn the rest." "That's not legal?" She raises an eyebrow. "Dean, they committed fraud. They stole our retirement savings. They used your professional credentials to access confidential information. We're not breaking the law. We're enforcing it." She's right. I hate that she's right, but she is. "Where do we start?" I ask. She slides a folder across the table. Inside is a printed copy of Tyler's corporate registration documents, somehow obtained. I don't ask how. Marlene has ways of getting information. Her boutique serves half the lawyers and executives in this city. People talk. "Start with his company," she says. "Find the cracks." I open my laptop and get to work. By noon, I've mapped Tyler's entire corporate structure. His logistics startup, Apex Freight Solutions, is leveraged to the breaking point. He owes money to 3 different creditors, all tied to short-term bridge loans. The Series B funding round Marlene mentioned isn't just important. Without it, he defaults in 90 days. But what's interesting is the investor list. One name appears on every document: Preston Hale, representing Hale Capital Group. I dig deeper. Preston isn't just an investor. He's the primary creditor for all 3 bridge loans. He owns 40% of Tyler's company through a web of shell entities. If Tyler fails, Preston takes everything. "He's not helping Tyler," I say out loud. "He's setting him up." Marlene looks over my shoulder. "Keep going." I pull up Brooke's business registration next. Her PR firm, Elevation Media, looks more stable on paper. But when I check her client list against public records, something jumps out. 3 of her 4 major clients are companies where Preston Hale sits on the board. "It's a setup," I say. Preston funneled clients to Brooke to make her look successful. He gave Tyler loans to make him look viable. Then he convinced them both to cut us out so they'd be completely dependent on him. Marlene nods slowly. "He's building his own little empire, using our children as puppets." "Why?" "Control," she says. Preston Hale is 34 years old and runs a private equity fund worth $200 million. He doesn't do anything without leverage. He married Brooke to get access to Tyler's company. He's going to let them fail, buy them out for pennies, and own them completely. I lean back. "So our kids aren't masterminds, they're marks." "Doesn't matter," Marlene says. "They still chose this, they still betrayed us. Preston didn't put a gun to their heads. He just showed them a shinier version of themselves and they threw us away to get it." She's right again. I hate that she keeps being right. My laptop pings. Email notification. I glance at it and freeze. The sender is my client portal administrator. Subject line: Account irregularities detected. I open it. It's an automated security alert. Someone has been accessing my client files from an unauthorized IP address. The same IP address Marlene found earlier. Tyler's. But there's more. The files he accessed weren't just about his competitors. He pulled confidential security assessments from 3 companies that are direct partners with Preston's investment fund. He wasn't just stealing from me, I say slowly. He was stealing for Preston. Marlene takes the laptop and reads the email. Her face goes arctic. "Forward this to me," she says, "and start documenting everything, every access, every file, every timestamp." Why? Because we're going to need it when we destroy them. 3 days pass. Tyler calls 17 times. Brooke calls 12. I don't answer. Marlene doesn't answer. We let them panic. On the 4th day, I get an email from my largest client, Redstone Financial. Subject line: Contract termination, effective immediately. I open it with my stomach in my throat. "Dear Mr. Hargrove, It has come to our attention that confidential security protocols were accessed without authorization from your account. While we have no reason to believe you were personally responsible, we cannot continue our professional relationship under these circumstances. Your final payment will be processed within 30 days. I read it twice. Then I forward it to Marlene. She calls me 2 minutes later. Where are you? Home office. Stay there. She arrives 20 minutes later with a banker's box full of files. She dumps it on my desk. I pulled everything from the boutique records, she says. Client lists, vendor contacts, gossip logs. Everything I've heard about Preston, Tyler, and Brooke in the last 6 months. Gossip logs? You think women come to my boutique just to buy dresses? She smiles grimly. They come to talk, and I listen. I've got 300 clients, Dean. Lawyers, executives, corporate wives. They all talk, and I write it down. She pulls out a leather notebook. Preston Hale is having an affair with his executive assistant, Simone Cortez. Tyler knows about it, but hasn't told Brooke. Brooke is using company funds to buy personal luxury goods and writing them off as business expenses. Tyler falsified revenue projections to secure his bridge loans. Preston is under investigation by the SEC for suspicious trading activity, but it hasn't gone public yet. I stare at her. How do you know all this? Because Preston's wife shops at my boutique. Because Tyler's accountant's sister works for me. Because Brooke's assistant bought a dress last month and cried in the fitting room about her boss's credit card fraud. She drops the notebook on the desk. We've got everything we need to bury them. We just have to decide how. I pick up the notebook and flip through it. Page after page of names, dates, transactions. Marlene has been building this file for months, maybe longer. She knew something was wrong before I did. Why didn't you tell me? I ask. Because I wanted to be wrong, she says quietly. I wanted to believe our children were better than this. But they're not. So now we stop pretending. My phone buzzes. Text from Tyler. Dad, I need to talk to you. It's urgent. I show it to Marlene. Ignore it, she says. He sounds desperate. Good. I put the phone down. What's the plan? She opens her laptop and pulls up a spreadsheet. We're going to dismantle their lives piece by piece, legally, quietly, and completely. By the time we're done, they'll have nothing left but each other and the realization that they destroyed themselves. How? First, we deal with your client situation. Tyler used your credentials to access confidential data. That's identity fraud and corporate espionage. We report it. That'll destroy his company. Yes, she says flatly. It will. I hesitate. Marlene doesn't. He destroyed your reputation, she says. He cost you your biggest client. He used you as a tool and threw you away. You don't owe him mercy. She's right. I know she's right. But he's still my son. Marlene sees me wavering. Dean, listen to me. They are not going to apologize. They are not going to change. They think they won. The only way to make them understand what they've done is to show them the consequences. I close my eyes. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, let's do it. She nods. Good. I'll draft the report for the cybersecurity authorities. You're going to visit Brooke's biggest client and have a conversation. About what? About how her PR firm is built on fake followers, purchased engagement, and fraudulent performance metrics. I have the receipts. You're going to show them. They won't believe me. They will when you show them the audit trail. Brooke bought 70,000 Instagram followers last year from a bot farm in Eastern Europe. Her engagement rate is 3%, which is industry standard for fraud. Her case studies are fabricated. I've got emails. How did you? Her assistant, Marlene says, the one who bought the dress. She gave me everything. She's tired of being complicit. I look at my wife, this woman I've been married to for 26 years, and I realize I've never really seen her like this. Cold, calculating, ruthless. You're terrifying, I say. I'm a mother who raised snakes, she says, and now I'm going to defang them. The next morning, I drive to downtown and park outside the headquarters of Symmetry Brands, Brooke's largest client. They're a mid-size fashion company that hired her 6 months ago to revamp their social media presence. According to Marlene's files, they're paying Brooke $40,000 a month. I walk into the lobby and ask for Jennifer Moss, the CMO. The receptionist looks confused. Do you have an appointment? No, I say, but she'll want to see me. Tell her it's about Elevation Media's performance metrics. 5 minutes later, I'm sitting in a glass office on the 9th floor. Jennifer Moss is 40-something, sharp-eyed, and already annoyed. You have 2 minutes, she says. I open my folder and slide a document across her desk. This is an independent audit of your social media engagement over the last 6 months. I think you'll find it interesting. She picks it up, scans it, and her expression shifts from annoyed to focused. What am I looking at? Your engagement rate is down 18%. Your follower growth is flat. Your conversion metrics are worse than they were before you hired Elevation Media. That's not what Brooke's reports show. That's because Brooke's reports are fabricated. I slide over another document. This is a breakdown of your Instagram follower acquisition. 73% of your new followers in the last 6 months came from bot accounts. They're not real people. They'll never buy your products. You've been paying $40,000 a month for fake numbers. Jennifer stares at the document for a long moment. Then she picks up her phone. Get me legal, she says. Now. I stand up. I'll leave these with you. Wait, she says. Who are you? Nobody, I say. Just someone who knows fraud when I see it. I walk out. My hands are shaking. I've never done anything like that before. Never sabotaged someone deliberately. Never weaponized information. It feels terrible. It feels necessary. By the time I get back to my car, my phone is ringing. Brooke. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Dad? Her voice is frantic. What did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. Symmetry Brands just fired me. They're demanding a full refund and threatening to sue. They said someone showed them an audit. Was that you? Why would I do that? Because you're mad about the advisory board thing. Dad, this is insane. You're trying to destroy my business because of your ego? I almost laugh. My ego? Yes. You can't handle that Tyler and I don't need you anymore, so you're sabotaging us. That's pathetic. Something cold settles in my chest. Brooke, you stole $73,000 from my retirement account. Silence. That wasn't stealing, she says finally. That was a loan. Without asking, without a contract, without any intention of paying it back. We were going to pay you back. We just needed it for what? For Preston's investment scheme? For your fake business? More silence. Brooke, I say, and my voice is steady now, calm. You made a choice. You decided I wasn't worth keeping in your life. That's fine, but you don't get to steal from me and then act surprised when there are consequences. Dad. I'm not your dad anymore, I say. I'm just the man you robbed, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows it. I hang up. My hands have stopped shaking. When I get home, Marlene is on the phone in the kitchen. She waves me in. Yes, she's saying. I understand. Thank you for letting me know. She hangs up and looks at me. That was Tyler's accountant. Well, former accountant. He just resigned. He's filing a formal complaint with the State Financial Board about Tyler's revenue projections. Turns out falsifying numbers to secure loans is a crime. You got to his accountant? I didn't have to get to him. He was already looking for a way out. I just gave him the courage to do it, and a recommendation letter for his next job. She pours herself a glass of wine. How did it go with Symmetry Brands? They fired Brooke. They're suing. Good. She takes a sip. 1 down, 3 to go. 3? She has 3 other clients. I've got meetings scheduled with all of them this week. I sit down. Marlene, are we really doing this? Yes. They're our children. They were our children, she says. Now they're just people who stole from us. And people who steal from me don't get to keep what they took. She's right. She's always right. But it still hurts. My phone buzzes. Text from Tyler. We need to talk, face to face. I show it to Marlene. Tell him tomorrow, she says. 1 p.m., that coffee shop on Grayson Street. Why there? Because it's public, because it's neutral, and because I want to watch. The coffee shop is half empty when I arrive at 12:45. I pick a corner table with a clear view of the door. Marlene is already here, sitting 3 tables away with a book and a latte, perfectly invisible. Tyler walks in at 1 p.m. exactly. He's wearing a suit, but it looks slept in. His tie is loose. He has dark circles under his eyes. He sees me and walks over, sits down without asking. Dad, he says. Tyler. For a moment, neither of us says anything. We just stare at each other like strangers at a bus stop. I don't know what you think you're doing, he finally says, but you need to stop. Stop what? You know what. Brooke lost Symmetry Brands. My accountant quit. Someone filed a complaint with the State Financial Board. Someone sent an anonymous tip to my investors questioning my revenue projections. Sounds like you have a lot of enemies. It's you, he says flatly. I know it's you. I lean back. Why would I do that? Because you're angry. Because you feel disrespected. I get it, Dad. I do. But this is my life you're destroying. Is it? I ask. Or is it Preston's life you're living? Tyler's jaw tightens. This isn't about Preston. Isn't it? Because from where I'm sitting, Preston owns you. He owns your company, your debt, your future. You're not building an empire, Tyler. You're building his empire. And when you fail, he takes everything. That's not... It is, I say quietly. I've seen the paperwork. Preston holds 40% of your company through shell entities. He's your primary creditor. If you don't close this funding round, he forecloses and you lose everything. That's not a partnership. That's a trap. Tyler looks away. You don't understand business. I understand being used, and that's what Preston is doing to you. He convinced you to cut me out so you'd be completely dependent on him. And you fell for it. He's family. So was I. That lands. I see it hit him, but he doesn't apologize. He just looks tired. Dad, I don't know what you want from me. I want you to admit what you did. What did I do? You stole from me. You used my credentials to access confidential client data. You destroyed my reputation, and then you threw me out of your company like I was nothing. That's not... Yes, it is. I lean forward. Tyler, I spent 22 years building a career. I sacrificed time, opportunities, relationships to make sure you and Brooke had everything you needed. And the moment you didn't need me anymore, you stole my money and blamed me for being outdated. He doesn't respond. So no, I say. I'm not going to stop. You wanted to play in the big leagues. You wanted to be ruthless. Congratulations. You're getting the full experience. I stand up. Dad, wait. We're done, I say. You made your choice. Now live with it. I walk out. Marlene follows 30 seconds later. We meet at the car. How do you feel? She asks. Terrible. Good, she says. That means you still have a conscience. Don't lose it. We're going to need it when this is over. We drive home in silence. That night, Tyler calls 18 times. Brooke calls 23. I turn off my phone. Marlene does the same. What's next? I ask. She pulls out her laptop. Next, we go after Preston. How? By being patient. Preston is under SEC investigation for insider trading. The case hasn't gone public yet, but it will. When it does, his investors will panic. His fund will collapse. And Tyler and Brooke will be left holding the bag. We're just going to wait? No, she says. We're going to accelerate the timeline. I've got a contact at a financial news outlet. They're always looking for tips about suspicious trading activity. All I have to do is point them in the right direction. That's journalism, she says. It's not illegal to share public information with reporters. especially when that information is a matter of public interest. She starts typing an email. I watch over her shoulder. She's careful. She doesn't make accusations. She just asks questions. Why did Preston Hale's fund sell $10 million in Apex Freight Solutions bonds 3 days before Tyler Hargrove's company announced a major revenue shortfall? Why did Preston's trades consistently precede market-moving news? Is someone at the SEC investigating this? She sends the email. How long until they run the story? I ask. 48 hours, she says. Maybe less if they dig fast. And then Tyler and Brooks' world collapses. Preston goes down for insider trading. Their businesses implode, and they finally understand what they've lost. I sit down on the couch. Marlene, what if we're wrong? What if they really believed they were doing the right thing? She looks at me like I've grown a second head. Dean, they stole our retirement savings. They used you to commit corporate espionage. They humiliated you in front of a boardroom full of strangers. And when you confronted them, they called you childish and outdated. She sits down next to me. I know you want to believe they're good people who made bad choices, but sometimes people are just bad, and our children are bad, and we're going to punish them for it. I don't argue, because deep down, I know she's right. 2 days later, the article drops. Hale Capital Group under investigation for insider trading. SEC probe targets firm's unusual trading patterns. The reporter did her homework. She found 10 separate instances where Preston's fund traded on non-public information. She found emails. She found transaction records. She found witnesses. The article goes live at 8 a.m. By 9 a.m., Preston's phone is ringing off the hook. By 10 a.m., 3 investors have pulled out of his fund. By noon, he's hired a crisis management team. Tyler calls me at 1 p.m. I answer this time. Did you do this? He asks. Do what? Don't play dumb. The article about Preston. Was that you? I didn't write the article, I say. Reporters did that. But you fed them the information. I don't know what you're talking about. You're destroying us, he says, and his voice cracks. Dad, you're destroying everything I've built. No, I say calmly. Preston destroyed it. He used insider information to trade against your company. He set you up to fail so he could buy you out cheap. I didn't do that. He did. That's not... It is. Read the article, Tyler. Preston sold $10 million in your company's bonds 3 days before you announced a revenue shortfall. He knew it was coming. How do you think he knew? Silence. He's been using you from the beginning, I say. And now it's all falling apart. The only question is whether you're going down with him. What do you want from me? Tyler asks, and he sounds broken. I want you to tell the truth. I want you to admit what you did, and I want you to understand that actions have consequences. I can't. Yes, you can. You just don't want to. I hang up. Marlene walks into the room. How did he sound? Desperate. Good. She hands me her phone. Look at this. It's a screenshot from Brooks' Instagram. Her follower count has dropped by 40,000 overnight. The comments on her recent posts are brutal. Fraud. Fake. Scammer. How did this happen? I ask. I may have sent the bot farm audit to a few influencer watchdog accounts. They did the rest. I stare at her. You really thought of everything. No, she says. I just thought about what they deserved. That afternoon, Brooke shows up at our house. She doesn't knock. She just walks in through the front door like she still lives here. Where are you? She yells. Marlene and I are in the kitchen. We don't move. Brooke storms in. Her makeup is smudged. Her hair is a mess. She looks like she's been crying for hours. You did this, she says, pointing at me. You destroyed my business. You destroyed my reputation. You turned everyone against me. I didn't turn anyone against you, I say. You did that yourself. I made one mistake. I bought followers once years ago when I was just starting out. Everyone does it. It's not a big deal. You stole $73,000 from my retirement account. She stops. That's the mistake, I say. Not the fake followers, not the fraud. The mistake was thinking you could steal from me and I'd just let it go. I was going to pay you back. When? Marlene asks. Before or after you cut us out of your lives completely? Brooke turns to her. Mom, please, make him stop. He's ruining everything. No, Marlene says. You ruined everything. Dean is just making sure you understand that. Brooke's face twists. I can't believe you're taking his side. I'm not taking his side, Marlene says. I'm taking my side. The side that raised you, loved you, supported you, and got robbed for the effort. You don't get to play victim here, Brooke. You're not the victim. I'm losing everything. Good, Marlene says flatly. Maybe you'll learn something. Brooke stares at her, then at me. Then she turns and walks out. The front door slams hard enough to rattle the windows. Marlene pours herself a glass of wine. That went well. Did it? She's starting to understand, Marlene says. That's progress. My phone buzzes. Email from the cybersecurity authorities. They've opened an investigation into the unauthorized access to my client accounts. They want to interview me tomorrow. I show it to Marlene. Perfect, she says. Tell them everything. Show them the logs. Show them Tyler's IP address. Show them what he stole. This will destroy his company. Yes, she says. It will. I look at her. How are you so calm about this? Because I'm not conflicted, she says. Our children betrayed us. They deserve to face consequences. I'm not going to feel guilty about that. I wish I could be as certain as she is, but I'm not. I'm a father watching his children burn, and even though they lit the match, I'm the one holding the gasoline. Dean, Marlene says softly. Look at me. I do. We didn't do this to them, she says. They did this to themselves. All we're doing is refusing to save them. That's not cruelty. That's justice. She's right. She's always right. I just wish it didn't hurt so much. The interview with the cybersecurity authorities takes 3 hours. I show them everything. The login logs, the accessed files, the IP address traces, the confidential documents Tyler pulled from my client portal. The investigator, a woman named Rachel Tran, takes notes without expression. Mr. Hargrove, she says when I'm done, you understand that if we verify this information, we'll have to refer this to law enforcement. I understand. And you're aware that your son could face criminal charges for corporate espionage and identity theft. I'm aware. She studies me. This must be difficult. It is, I say. But it's necessary. She nods. We'll be in touch. I drive home. Marlene is waiting on the porch. How did it go? They're opening a criminal investigation. She nods. Good. That's the first domino. The rest will fall quickly now. She's right. By the end of the week, Tyler's investors have pulled out. His company misses payroll. His employees start quitting. The Series B funding round collapses. Brooke loses 2 more clients, then her 4th. Preston's fund goes into freefall. The SEC formally charges him with insider trading. He's arrested on a Thursday morning. It's all over the news. And then, finally, they come crawling back. Tyler and Brooke show up at our house on a Saturday morning. They look hollow. Tyler has lost weight. Brooke's designer clothes are wrinkled. They stand on the porch. They don't try to come in. Dad, Tyler says, we need help. I stare at them through the screen door. We lost everything, Brooke says. My business is gone. Tyler's company is filing for bankruptcy. Preston's in jail. We have nothing. And you think I'm going to save you? I ask. We're family, Tyler says. I laugh. It's not a nice sound. You said I wasn't family, I tell him. You said I was outdated. You cut me out of your life and stole my money. And now that you've failed, you want me to pretend none of that happened? We made a mistake, Brooke says. We're sorry. Are you? Marlene appears behind me. Are you sorry you stole from us? Or are you sorry you got caught? Neither of them answers. Here's what's going to happen, I say. You're going to leave. You're going to figure out how to rebuild your lives on your own. And you're going to learn that actions have consequences. Dad, please! No, I say. You wanted to be adults. You wanted to be independent. You wanted to play in the big leagues. Congratulations. You're there. Now sink or swim. We'll pay you back, Tyler says desperately. Every dollar. I swear. I don't want your money, I say. I want you to understand what you did, and I don't think you do. Not yet. I close the door in their faces. Through the window, I watch them stand there for a long moment. Then they turn and walk away. Marlene puts a hand on my shoulder. That was hard. Yes. But necessary. Yes. We stand there in silence. What now? I ask. Now, she says. We finish it. 3 weeks pass. Tyler's company officially files for bankruptcy. Brooks' PR firm closes. Preston is denied bail. The SEC freezes his assets. And then I get a call from a private investigator. Mr. Hargrove, my name is Vincent Chen. I've been hired to look into some irregularities regarding your children's businesses. I'd like to ask you some questions. Hired by whom? I'm not at liberty to say, but it's related to the bankruptcy proceedings. There are some financial discrepancies that don't add up. What kind of discrepancies? The kind that suggests someone was siphoning money out of Tyler's company for months before it collapsed, and that someone might have been Preston Hale. I sit up. How much money? Potentially millions, but I need your help to prove it. Why me? Because you understand cybersecurity, and because you have access to your son's early financial records. I need to see where the money went. I think about it for exactly 5 seconds. When can we meet? We meet the next day at a downtown office. Vincent Chen is younger than I expected, maybe 35, with sharp eyes and a laptop covered in security clearance stickers. Here's what I've found so far, he says, pulling up a spreadsheet. Tyler's company received $12 million in bridge loans from Preston's fund over the last 18 months, but only $8 million actually made it into company accounts. The other $4 million disappeared. Disappeared where? That's what I need you to help me figure out. He shows me transaction records. I spend 2 hours tracing the money. It's clever. Preston created a shell company that looked like a legitimate vendor. Tyler's company paid the shell company for consulting services that never happened. The shell company then transferred the money to offshore accounts. Preston was robbing Tyler the entire time, I say. Yes. And Tyler either didn't notice or didn't care. Can we prove this? With your help, yes. I need you to testify about the financial irregularities. I need you to explain how the scheme worked, and I need you to sign an affidavit. I look at him. If I do this, Preston goes to prison for longer, but Tyler gets exposed as incompetent at best, complicit at worst. Yes. And my son's reputation gets destroyed even more than it already is. Yes. I think about Tyler standing on my porch, begging for help. I think about Brooke crying in my kitchen. I think about 26 years of being a father, and then I think about the $73,000 they stole, the confidential files Tyler accessed, the lies they told. I'll do it, I say. Vincent nods. Good. I'll draft the affidavit. When I get home, Marlene is packing boxes. Our boxes. The house is half empty. What are you doing? I ask. We're moving, she says. I found a condo downtown, 2 bedrooms, view of the river. We're starting over. You didn't ask me. I didn't need to. You've been unhappy in this house for months. Every room reminds you of them. So we're leaving. She's right. The house does remind me of them. Tyler learning to ride a bike in the driveway. Brooke's high school graduation party in the backyard. All of it tainted now. When do we move? Next week. I've already hired movers. I sit down on the couch, one of the few pieces of furniture left. Marlene, What happens when this is all over? What do you mean? When Preston is in prison, when Tyler and Brooke have nothing left, when we've destroyed everything they built, what happens then? She sits next to me. Then we get to decide if we forgive them. Do we? I don't know, she says honestly. I think they have to earn it first, and I don't think they've even started trying. My phone buzzes. Text from Tyler. Dad, I need to tell you something. Can we meet? I show it to Marlene. What do you think? I ask. I think he's finally ready to tell the truth. We meet at a diner this time. Neutral ground. Tyler is already there when I arrive, sitting in a back booth with a cup of coffee he hasn't touched. I slide in across from him. What do you want to tell me? I ask. He doesn't look at me. He stares at the table. I knew. Knew what? About Preston. About the money. About all of it. I feel something cold settle in my stomach. Explain. Preston came to me 18 months ago, Tyler says quietly. He said he could make my company successful. He said all I had to do was trust him. So I did. He gave me the bridge loans. He funneled clients to Brooke. He made us look like we were thriving. And in exchange, he got control. He got access to our financials. He got to use our companies as fronts for his own deals. I didn't understand all of it at first, but eventually I figured it out. And you didn't stop him. No. Tyler's voice is flat. Because by then I needed him. My company was over-leveraged. Brooke's business was built on smoke. If Preston pulled out, we'd collapse, so I went along with it. You used my credentials to access confidential client data, I say. Was that Preston's idea too? Tyler nods. He said it would give us an edge. He said it was just business intelligence. I didn't think. You didn't think it was illegal? You didn't think it would destroy my reputation? I thought you'd never find out. I lean back. And cutting me out of your company? Was that Preston too? Partly, but also me. Preston said you'd ask too many questions. He said you'd figure out what we were doing, so I pushed you out. And the money? The $73,000 Brooke took from our retirement account? That was real debt, Tyler says. We needed it to keep the lights on. We were going to pay you back. But you didn't. No. We sit in silence. The diner is nearly empty. A waitress refills my coffee without asking. Why are you telling me this now? I ask. Because I'm done lying, Tyler says. Because everything's already gone. Because you were right. About all of it. Preston was using us. We were too stupid to see it, and now we've lost everything. And you want forgiveness. He looks at me for the first time. His eyes are red. I want you to know I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I got caught. Because I hurt you. I don't say anything. I know you don't believe me, he says. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be better than what I became. Good, I say. Because what you became was a thief and a liar. He flinches, but he doesn't argue. Tyler, I say, and my voice is steady, I'm testifying against Preston. I'm going to explain how he used you and Brooke as fronts for embezzlement. I'm going to show the court every illegal transaction, and you're going to look either incompetent or complicit. I know. And I'm not going to soften the blow. I'm not going to protect you. You made your choices. Now you live with them. I know, he says again. I stand up. If you really want to be better, start by telling the truth to everyone. Not just me, everyone. Brooke, your creditors, the investigators. Own what you did, all of it. He nods. I leave him sitting there with his untouched coffee. When I get home, Marlene is on the phone. She sees me and waves me over. Yes, she's saying. That's correct, both of them. Full restitution plus damages. Thank you. She hangs up. What was that? I ask. That was our lawyer. Tyler and Brooke just agreed to a settlement. They're going to repay every dollar they took from us. It'll take years, but they signed the paperwork. How did you convince them? I didn't. Tyler did. He called Brooke. He told her everything. She's finally starting to understand what they did. I sit down. Is this over? Almost, Marlene says. One more thing. What? She hands me a key. The new condo. We move in tomorrow. New house, new life, new start. I take the key. It's warm from her hand. What about Tyler and Brooke? What about them? Do we let them back into our lives? Marlene sits next to me. Eventually. Maybe. If they prove they've changed. But not now. Now they need to learn what it's like to live without us. And we need to learn what it's like to live without them. You're not even sad, I say. I'm devastated, she says quietly. I'm gutted. I cry every night when you're asleep. But I'm not going to let them see that. Because they need to see that we're strong without them. They need to see that they didn't break us. They need to see that we're better than they thought. I put my arm around her. We are. I know. We sit like that for a long time,